Recording in progress.
The El Paso Alliance for Just Schools presents a conversation with EPISD District 5 candidate Vanessa Betts and former El Paso Mayor John Cook.
Hi, Miss Betts. My name's John Cook. I don't know if you know it, but the very first elected office that I pursued was was as a trustee on the EPISD. It was to replace somebody who had passed away when the seat became vacant. It wasn't an election, but it was an interview. As you can tell by my resume, I was unsuccessful. But I want to congratulate you for stepping up and putting your hat in the ring for this extremely important and often unrecognized position as a school board trustee. So I have a couple of questions for you. And in reading your resume, I saw that you had been an educator. And I was wondering what inspired you to want to enter education?
I think that was something that happened years ago. You know, when you're a kid, you always ask the question, what are you going to be when you grow up? What are you going to be when you grow up? And for as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher and I wanted to be a journalist and I wanted to be a mommy because I was brought up as an only child. I have a brother who's much older than myself. So I was pretty much an only child coming up. And I pretty much um, did all three. Some I did extra. I have four children instead of just having a child. But yes, I've always been interested in being a teacher, and whatever area I was in, it seemed like I was always the leader of the pack. I was the one who all in Sunday school, in the classroom. So, and it wasn't as if I was felt I knew more, but I was the one that always got everyone else engaged and hey, let me show you. This is fun. So I guess I just matured with that attitude as I got older.
So what inspired you then to run for trustee, which is
And
different than being an educator?
it is. It's totally different. You know, after you've raised your children, and we have four adult children, 11 grandchildren, and one great grand. My husband has retired. And there comes a point where you feel like, okay, I want to give something back. I want to leave something. I want to share something. I want to give someone else or help them to fulfill their vision. And so I saw it online and I went to talk to someone about it. And the person I talked to said, well, you know, me and another person were thinking about you in the beginning before I had even called them. I said, well, what does it entail? And they started telling me what it entailed and everything. I said, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of the decision making process, have some say so in what goes on.
Let's say that you're successful and you win the election, and the entire school board of trustees is seated. Then the challenge becomes what to you would be the most important issue that you want to tackle.
You know, that question has had different answers because the very first time I was asked that question, of course, my answer was we need to make sure that the schools are safe. We need to make sure that the students are coming back to an environment that is safe and conducive for learning. The teachers have been vaccinated. There's good ventilation in the schools, this, that, and the other. However, some of those things, since I asked, was last asked that question, has come to fruition. Students have begun to get vaccinated, but prior to that, teachers started getting vaccinated and now the students are coming along. I think the next most important thing now would be our superintendent, someone who will lead by example, who has a vision and a mission for this area. Um, every area is different, and you may have been a superintendent in one town or one state, but El Paso is unique. um, there are different dynamics here than perhaps what you would face in other parts. I am originally from Chicago, and even being a military wife and leaving Chicago and moving to the Southwest, first of all, to New Mexico, and then to here, there was quite an adjustment for me. Um, for someone coming in from somewhere else, they have to be willing to make that adjustment. And if they are married with children, they have to realize that everyone has to take on that responsibility as well. When I came here with my husband, I couldn't say, well, I'll come, but the kids don't want to come. I can say the kids can come in, but I'm not coming. So they has to be an understanding that when you come, that you're going to bring the package with you, and you're going to accept whatever it is that needs to be done to fulfill your mission.
So why do you feel that the selection of a superintendent would be your primary mission, your most important
Because I
project?
hope that he's
What?
someone with a vision. We all bring something to the table, but we hope that the leader has a vision, that they have a mission, that they have an understanding of what is needed. Now, they won't make the decision by themselves. It will take the board and everyone working collectively to come up with the best way um, to lead El Paso into the future, but they have to at least have a vision.
You know, Ms. Betts, in some countries, teachers are very well uh, reimbursed for their services. They're very well respected in the community. And but in the state of Texas, teachers are not, in my humble opinion, not adequately paid for what they're doing. Uh, what would you do to advocate for better teacher salaries?
Well, one thing that I have noticed, there's a lot of waste. If we are able to deal with some of the waste that we use, we would have money to allocate for spending on teachers. We, from what I've seen, there is a lot of money that has been put into things that are not necessarily um, something that's going to be make things better. So I think there needs to be, and this goes along with the superintendent again, there needs to be a clear understanding of how money is being spent, first of all, perhaps do some type of cost analysis on what we're spending now, how we're spending it, and then we can best identify how we can um, channel that money in a way that maybe the teachers can benefit from it too. And not only that, using our state officials and lobbying for different things can be helpful as well. But I think the first thing starts at home. Let's get rid of some of the waste that we're involved in.
Okay, we all know where EPISD is today and where it's been in the past, but where would you like to see it 5 years from now? What progress would you like to see made, and how would you want it to be different than from what it is today?
That's a hypothetical question. And I just want to share this. In 1999, if that question had been asked going into 2020, there would have been a very positive outlook. As we go into 2020, I even heard a minister say at Watch Night, we're going into 2020, we're going to have 2020 vision. It's going to open our eyes up to a lot of things. And yes, it did. Not in ways that we probably thought it would. But sometimes we don't really know what we're facing. This pandemic that we went through was unprecedented. We had no way of preparing for it. All the technology in the world, um, it didn't help us. I mean, we were able to do something, but there were some one-on-one things that we needed to do that we weren't able to do. So there had to be a lot of innovation came in. There had to be a lot of thought process that was applied too, because we weren't able to do things in the manner of which that we were able to do. But one of the things that I would like to do, my vision for EPISD, should I become the trustee, is involve our community. I think right now we're at a situation where it's the teacher and the student. And many times the parents don't know what's going on in the school. Um, yes, there may be some newsletters that go out from time to time. Do they get to the parents? We don't know. And if they do, the parents read them. So I think there needs to be some camaraderie with the community so that we have a better, um, a more collaborative type of understanding of how things should go. We can't depend totally on the teachers. We can't depend totally on the students. It takes everybody. You know that term, it takes an entire village to raise a child. It takes everybody, even within the school system. It's not just the teacher. If you don't have custodians and we're not taking care of them properly, then the school can't run well. If we don't have our our cooks to prepare meals, healthy meals for our children, then there's a lack right there too. So it takes everybody working together. I propose to have monthly meetings. For the lack of a better word, meetings sound like we're going to be at it all day and all night. But I say that to say gatherings where we can come together, not just parent conference, but come together and we can make this fun, but we can also make it something where the students become aware and the parents become aware, the community becomes aware of what's going on in the school. So if they don't look up and say, when did they decide that, as if they're a second party, because they need to be inclusive. And when I say they, I mean all stakeholders. They need to be inclusive in the things that are transpiring within the school system. And so I would hope to bring in mentors, perhaps even like yourself, to come in and speak at these different gatherings, maybe once a month, just for short periods. I mean, I like your 3 minute thing. I would give you more than 3 minutes, but it wouldn't take long. But to share that, I'm an everyday person. I can do this, you can do this. Mayor, I went to one of the schools. I know you read in my bio that I write books, and it was Dr. Seuss's birthday. And I had gone over there, they presented a program, and I spoke. And the one little boy came up to me. He says, "You're really smart." I said, "Well, why do you say that?" He said, "Because you write books." I said, "Anyone can write a book." I said, "You may not be able to put it in the right grammar, but a book is what's inside of you." And my slogan that I use for my books is, "Let your imagination be the framework for your creation." You are the creator of whatever it is that you want to do. And so he thought that was so neat. He said, "But I can't ever think of anything." I said, "You will. It'll come to you." As he walked away, his shoestring was untied, and there was a long trail of his shoestring. I said, "Hold it, hold it. You need to tie your shoe up so you don't trip." He said, "Oh, that's what I'll write about." I mean, it was as if the light came on. He said, "I hate tying my shoes." I said, "See, that's
There you
your
go.
story. That is your story. That's something unique that you can share." I said, "Write that book and I'll look for it on the bestsellers list." And I said that to say that when we can share from the heart our experience with other students, children, and sometimes even parents, because sometimes parents, they don't have a vision of where they want to go in life. Some of our parents in the Northeast, some of them are young people raising children. Some of them are single parent family and they're doing the best they can just to raise their children without thinking of the fact of what is it that I'm going to leave for my children as far as a legacy. Am I going to be an example? Am I going to lead by example to show them, something? I want you to get your degree. I'm going to get my degree. I want you to be successful. I'm going to be successful. And I don't mean in some big way. I talked with a lady today when I was out canvassing. She said she just got her GED, 58 years old. And she said, "I was a single parent." She said, "I raised 3 kids." She said, two are teachers in Dallas, and my son, I think she said he was in Denver, and he's an engineer. And she said, and I just got my GED. I asked her for her information. I said, those are the kind of stories I want to share. Kids need to know the reality of life. It's not just testing, reading, writing, they need to know the full story of what life is about, what education is. And some education you don't get just in a book. Some things we learn from others.
It reminds me of Adam Smith, who ran for president many, many years ago. And when they asked him what university he graduated from, he said FFM. And the reporter asked, well, what's FFM? And he said, Fulton's Fish Market, which is in Manhattan. So,
Okay.
but anyway, I want to congratulate you for stepping in to the ring, throwing your hat in. I wish you good luck, and I want to thank you for participating in this interview today.
Thank you so much. Mayor Cook, you have been an inspiration. You probably don't know me from this side of the screen, but years ago, you used to come to, or you did come once or twice to a nursing home called Hillcrest Nursing Home. And I would go there on Sundays with another group from a church called Mount Zion Baptist Church, and we would do ministry there. And you came there. I even have a picture of you playing your guitar uh, to the residents there, and I thought that was wonderful.
That was my guitar ministry. But anyway, good luck in the election, and good luck when you get elected.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your encouragement.